Should teachers be graded on a yearly basis and those that fail be fired? Well, a bill to do just that has been working its way through the Missouri legislature and has been a top priority for House Speaker Tim Jones. There's even been ads running on TV in Missouri. It's tied to another measure that calls for the immediate takeover of the Kansas City, Missouri School District. Yet despite it being such an important issue for the Republican leadership and the fact that the GOP controls both chambers of the Missouri legislature, by large margins, by the way, the measure narrowly failed this week. But as Mary Sanchez, writing in a column this week, points out, this is not the last we've heard of the subject. We could be voting on this at a statewide ballot issue soon, courtesy of St. Louis businessman and wealthy political backer Rex Sinquefield. He wants to put this on the ballot for all of us to decide.
Well, but that's also a part of this push to push the politicians. You know, they want to please Rex. I mean, for money, for contributions, all sorts of things. This will be caught up in the courts for a little while. That's part of the tit-for-tat little game with these petitions. You know, there's been a lawsuit filed on it, so then they'll perhaps, you know, gather some signatures. Those might have to be thrown out, depending on the timing. This issue, though, nationally is massive, and it's good. There does need to be more accountability on teachers. It's like I wrote in the column, though, the devil is in the details of how you work all this out. And, you know, from what I said, is what is the big push? Is it really about children and ensuring their better education and the quality of the teachers in the classrooms, or is it to go against unions? And when the politicians get involved, some hands, I do think a lot of it is just very anti-union.
Okay, well, let's look at some of the details. The original proposal here would allow administrators to evaluate teachers annually and assign them one of 4 ratings: highly effective, effective, minimally effective, or ineffective, and at least a third of the evaluation would be based on the academic achievement and growth of students. Confidential teacher surveys and input from parents also would have to be taken into account. Probationary teachers could be fired if they're rated ineffective for 2 consecutive years, and tenured teachers ousted after 3 consecutive ratings of ineffective. Now, do parents like this idea, do you think, of this kind of accountability, Scott?
This parent likes the idea of grading teachers, making them more accountable. I struggle, though, with this notion that we're going to use student performance as a major component in the grading of the teachers.
Why do you struggle with that?
Because so many different factors go into how well a student does in school, and a lot of it starts in the home. The teachers, you know, the student comes in, they're a mold of clay. But what kind of mold are they getting when they go home? You know, there have been studies that show that students' performance can increase by 25% by a parent simply asking every night, how was your day? A lot of students in certain districts in this city don't get that a lot when they go home. My brother's a teacher, and he taught in a rough high school in Wichita years ago. And he once told me he would be lucky on parent-teacher night if 10% of his students' parents would come in. Well, find out what it is in Blue Valley. What's the parent turnout on a parent-teacher night in a 5th grade classroom? I bet it would be markedly higher than it is in some of the other districts in Kansas City.
So you think to hold the teacher accountable for all of that is unfair?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, but
isn't the problem, though, Mary, that you do have teachers who have been there forever and there's no way to get rid of them?
I don't know that there's no way. There are ways to get rid of teachers who are tenured. And part of it is this, proving a track record of difficulties within their classrooms. One of the good things about the better models of doing these teacher evaluations is that it does take into account what Scott is talking about. You can measure, and it gets very convoluted to really explain here, but you can measure what a teacher gives to the classroom over a period of time to a certain extent. There's a lot of caveats here, but there are measures that can kind of account for that and somewhat take that out of the equation and really just look at what certain teachers get done in their classrooms and what others don't over a period of time.
Stacey.
Well, teacher accountability is certainly an issue, but our educational system in this country has systemic problems. And we're not talking about the real issues that need to be addressed. We're simply latching on to one thing, teachers and unions, and saying that may cause the fix. Until at the federal and the state levels we decide that this whole educational system needs to start from the ground up again, none of these problems get fixed.
But Rex Sinquefield, the St. Louis businessman, he has made this a priority. and he has been pretty persuasive in getting issues on the ballot,
Well,
Dave.
he has a few dollars to help put it out there, which is, of course, the source of his power. But teacher performance, and more broadly said, school performance is extraordinarily important, Nick, in both states, because lawmakers spend hundreds of millions of dollars on education, and it drives them crazy that performance doesn't always match that spending for a whole host of reasons.